Joining us now from federal prison, he is in a medical facility, is our friend of the show, Joe Exotic, and he's in a medical facility because, quite frankly, he's not doing that well. He's sick, and today we're going to be calling on President Donald Trump to cut the nonsense and to pardon and free Joe Exotic. Joe, welcome back to the show, buddy.
Billy, I appreciate you, man.
So, listen, you're trending right now. I don't know if you know this in like international news. You've inserted yourself.
Everybody in Australia is talking about me. I don't know why I can't get the Trumps to talk about me. I just don't understand.
You've inserted yourself into this election over there with Anthony Albanese, the prime minister. And, I got to tell you, I watched the press conference and I was a little taken back and I didn't appreciate the reporter's question. And I didn't love his answer because they were kind of making a joke or making light of you being in prison. I'd like to get your reaction to that.
Well, everybody looks at me like this TV character from Tiger King, and it really upsets me because they had an agenda when they made Tiger King, and that's all anybody knows about me. And if anybody was able to get in here with a camera and actually do a sit-down one-on-one interview, I think the world would be shocked to see the real Joe. Because I've spent my life doing charity work. I've done everything I could to be a good citizen of this country. Made it 55 years without even a speeding ticket, Billy. And all of the witnesses have went on world television on season 2 of Tiger King and admitted they lied and committed perjury. And a plot to kill me. I don't get it. Why can't nobody see the real Joe, or why can't the Trump administration? Hell, they bend over backwards helping a prisoner in Russia or another country. What about the wrongfully convicted right here in America?
Well, Joe, and I got to tell you, and I know you endorse President Trump, and I know you're a Trump supporter, but quite frankly, I'm getting a little bit frustrated with how things are going. He's pardoning various politicians. He's handing out pardons like it's Christmas, like it's M&Ms. And you still sit there in this federal lockup in this medical facility, and there's been no traction that I've seen publicly on your case. I've written letters. I've contacted the powers that be that I know. Why do you think that President Trump is not pulling the trigger on this thing? It's ridiculous.
I'm not sure because he promised the Libertarian Party if they voted for him.
This call is from a federal prison.
He would pardon Ross, and Ross has got three murder for hire convictions, and he actually paid them. You know what I'm saying? So it can't be that. And he's got a gay cabinet member that's legally married to another man. So I really find it hard to believe it's that. I'm beside myself, Billy. I don't understand.
Well,
I really don't.
I think what it is, Joe, to be frank, because I've done a lot of thinking about this, it's your way of interacting with the world was just through that show, through Tiger King. And to your earlier point, you're Joe Maldonado. I mean, you're a real man. You laugh, you cry, you have emotions. You're going through it right now health-wise. And I think almost the public looks at you like a cartoon character, but you're not. You're a true man. You have a beating heart just like all of us.
I am fighting 2 types of cancer. I have to get blood transfusions every month. My parents have died. I've lost everything I ever worked for. If I was to get lucky enough to walk out of here alive, I'm going to walk out of here with the same sweats on that I bought off the commissary because I don't have anything out in the world. They took it all. And all, I watch the news every minute of the day, and I get so aggravated and so frustrated hearing President Trump and all of his people, how the justice system has been weaponized, how it's been, how it's unfair. But it's only weaponized and it's only unfair to them in their eyes. The hell with the rest of us, It's been weaponized against normal citizens for, 100 years? That your neighbor that got busted with an 8-ball of meth is doing 20 years because it's just the way they do it. Nothing is about helping the American people in prison. It's the same thing that if and I'm speaking to some, I'm speaking on this for somebody that is madly in love with an illegal immigrant. Okay, if he really wanted to take the strain off of the American prison system and the taxpayers, he would line 20 buses up in front of every one of these federal prisons, and every illegal immigrant that has a nonviolent crime, he would commute their sentence to time served and ship them back.
Yeah.
It's not about making sense.
It's not making sense, and I sense the frustration. You haven't been on the show in a bit, and I sense it's a different Joe Exotic we're getting today. But I have to tell you, on the outside, you do have support. I mean, there are people every day I'm at social media. I see the hashtag, and I encourage my audience hashtag free Joe Exotic. Now, Joe, you have an interesting angle here with these world leaders. You've called on Mexico as well as now Australia. If they can get to President Trump and they can kind of get in his ear, you're willing to what? Would you go to Australia and work in one of their wildlife centers or something?
Steve Irwin was an amazing colleague of mine. He helped me save a kangaroo and a huge alligator, a 14-foot alligator here in America. And he didn't have to, but he gave me access to his veterinarian staff 24/7. And I became a police chief at the age of 19, working for free for the first 6 months to prove I could do it. I would gladly go to Mexico, Australia. Hell, I would go work for Putin at this point for 6 months for free in some kind of a wildlife conservation to help save animals in the wild or in their zoos. Just for somebody to spend 5 minutes and get on my website, joeexoticofficial.com, and look at the evidence link of the evidence. We have 700 phone recordings of them admitting that they lied and how the agents were setting this whole thing up as a big lie. I just need 5 minutes from some world leader. And, I've even reached out to the Crown Prince of Dubai because back in 2013, I bred America's first litter of baby ligers. And the Crown Prince has 2 of those. He reached out to me and purchased the very first 2 baby ligers ever born in America. And so I would go work for him. It don't matter to me. This is not about money. This is about my freedom and what's right. And if I have to volunteer to work somewhere for free, hell, I put out there that I would get, as soon as I get out of here, the first $5 million I make, I would gladly give to the Trump administration for a gold card for George. Mm-hmm. That's how money doesn't mean shit to me. It's my freedom. I'm going to die in here, Billy, if they don't do something.
Well, I like to believe, Joe, that people are generally good, and somebody is going to hear your call, and somebody's going to be compassionate enough to make this happen for you. Now, on a serious note, because I know we're up against it with the federal prison, the time you're on the phone there, your mental health. A lot of your fans have reached out to me and DM'd me on Instagram and said, can you just ask Joe how he's holding up mentally?
Good compared. I spent the first 2 years and 8 months in solitary confinement with no television, no radio, no nothing, no one else to talk to, and it will screw your head up. And I am amazed. I'm going on 8 years now.
This call is from a federal prison.
And I have made it 8 years without touching any kind of alcohol in here, any kind of drugs or cigarettes, because I refuse to become one of these inmate people. I'm not, I don't belong here. Even the guards say I don't belong here. The governor of Oklahoma's, Governor Stitt's own brother is an air marshal that flies me back and forth to North Carolina for cancer treatment. And he don't even think I belong here, And I've got Joe Rogan out there. I've got Dana White out there. I've got the Hulk the Hogan family. I've got Andrew Tate out there. I got Matt Gaetz out there. I got Lauren Boebert out there. They're all voicing free Joe. He needs a pardon.
Joe,
what the hell is wrong with President Trump?
Well, it's getting frustrating. And it's not like, it'd be one thing if it was his policy not to hand out pardons. We saw it with the January 6ers, and we continue to see other pardons. There was a politician, a female in Nevada, I believe, that was wrapped up in some real shady stuff with money and a fallen officer, and he just pardoned her. And it's like, what is
Like
going
the
on?
lady that stole the money from the dead cop fund.
That's
Is
the
that who you're
one.
talking about?
Yeah,
Michelle something?
for plastic surgery.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on, Joe?
What what do I not offer society to be able to go back to the free world and get back to my charity work? What?
Listen, before we go,
Is it because I'm not a criminal?
I got to get this out there, Joe, before we go. I am going to be posting at Billy Harfosh on my Instagram. There's a website to donate to your commissary fund. Is that correct? And where does, just for my audience, where does that money go? I mean, that keeps you going in there, right?
If they do it on my commissary, it goes straight to my account here at the prison. If they do it to the Cash App or PayPal, it goes to my CPA, my power of attorney, who I trust with my life, and he puts it on my books. But honestly, that's another thing that kind of just floors me is no one, nobody except one elderly lady that used to come to the zoo named Regina ever puts money on my account. That's it. One person. And you've got this teenager here in Dallas-Fort Worth that stabbed that other teenager in the heart. What's he got, $500,000 raised already? And then you got Luigi that assassinated a man in cold blood, has got almost $1 million. And Joe can't even buy a 12-pack of soda pop because I'm a cartoon character from Tiger King.
Well, we're going to put that website out there. Send some money to Joe Exotic. We're part of the free Joe Exotic movement here, Joe, on the outside. And just lastly, I am calling on President Trump to have some compassion. And you know what? Beyond compassion, Joe, just look at the damn case. Just look at the case. I don't even think
That's
he's
all I
looked.
need. It's there. The evidence is there. I've been waiting. The normal American citizen like me, I've been waiting. The first appeal that I've applied for was in Oklahoma City for a new trial. It took that judge 19 months to deny it. Now I've been waiting a year and a half on the appellate court, so I've been waiting nearly 3 years just to hear if I can have a new trial. And a politician can get to the Supreme Court in less than a month.
And meanwhile, we're out there talking about America first and cutting red tape and stop the government overreach and all this crap, and we can't even get somebody to look at your
This
case.
is not about America first. This is not. No. This is about how rich people can get in this country.
Yeah.
And Billy, this thing beeped, which means it's going to hang up in 30 seconds.
Okay.
So tell everybody out there that I send my love and be my voice. It's the only thing that's going to get me out of here. We have to show President Trump some numbers.
Joe, thanks for being on the show. I sense your frustration, but I have to tell you, we will not stop until you walk out of that damn prison, and that day is going to come. Keep the faith, stay strong, and stay healthy, okay, my man? All right, there he is. That's Joe Exotic, the Tiger King. And like Joe just said, that's a real man, ladies and gentlemen. Just like your father, your brother, your neighbor, your friend. This man is locked up. I've looked at the evidence. I've spoken to his lawyers. He's very sick. He's battling 2 forms of cancer. This man is locked up, and I believe wrongfully. I am calling on the Trump administration to at least give some grace here and look at Joe Exotic's case, because enough is enough. We're not going to let that man die in prison. My name is Billy Harfosh, beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona, Star Worldwide Networks. We'll be back with more explosive interviews.